Hey guys, Jonas here at Bread and Burger. Just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up about this episode. So, you'll hear us talking about Jonathan's camera dying, and therefore we changed everything up. What we had originally thought was that we were going to put both the rating of a burger and our top five burger chains all into one episode. And then after recording, we realized, man, we talked a long time. So we are just going to give you two episodes now instead of just one. So coming up are the top five burger chains, according to myself and Jonathan, and hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching and listening to Bread and Burgers.
So you notice that we might look a little different. First of all, the background behind me, it's sunny. So apparently last night when we were recording late and somehow my camera just died. And so we got to reshoot part of this episode. So here we are.
Yep,
You know,
here we are.
technology happens.
Yeah. So fortunately, we have this opportunity to go back in, and we're hoping that this second segment will be better than what we had last night.
Tired. We were tired.
We
But
were.
anyway, so yeah. So this segment, let's go back into burgers. Bread and burgers, right? That's what we're talking about. Going back into rating our burgers. And let's give everybody the top five fast food burgers.
Right. And
I'll let
so
Jonas, you go
I
ahead.
think before we get started, we want to kind of reiterate, what do we mean by fast food burgers? And I think what we've agreed on is fast food means that you pay before you eat. So you go up to a counter, you order, you pay, and then you get your food down the line. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. That's the definition of fast food. Maybe it comes in a brown bag. Maybe it comes on a tray.
Right.
What have you,
Right.
right?
So while there are kind of lower caliber sort of dine-in places, there are going to be pretty distinct places that we don't mention, such as say like Red Robin or the Counter, or even something like a Denny's or an Applebee's. Those sort of things we consider dine-in, and as opposed to fast food. So it's not we haven't thought of them, but we're just looking at fast food right now. So
Right.
my top five, and we're looking at chains. Some of these chains may be local, but I think we're looking at places with more than one store. So my number five is actually Dick's Drive-In in Seattle. Dick's is kind of a Seattle staple. You're not going to find it anywhere else. It's purported to be Bill Gates' favorite burger place, and
Oh, Bill Gates. Wow. So I mean, so can you describe how Dick's is? What is it
so
like?
Dick's is and Seattleites don't kill me for kind of mangling this a little bit, because it's been a little while since I've been to Dick's. But Dick's is a pretty typical kind of drive-in. It's a single structure where the entire structure is the kitchen with outward-facing counters opened into a large parking lot. And the kind of the nice thing about Dick's is it's a very like no frills burger. You kind of know exactly what you're getting, and they crank them out very fast. You can actually see through the windows that they have almost this assembly line of burgers. Like they have like 20 something buns laid out, and then the pickles go on, and then the sauce goes on, and then the patty goes on, and then the cheese goes on, and then they top it off and they wrap it, and it comes out, and it's really fast, and it's relatively cheap. And so it's a
So it's kind of like Krispy Kreme, that conveyor belt of
I don't
donuts
think it's
coming
as
out.
automated as Krispy Kreme. You still have people there
Okay.
kind of like going through it, but it's not like sort of the nicer kind of made to order
Okay.
kind of burger, like that a lot of fast food places sort of purport to be like, we don't make the burger until you order it, kind of places. So,
Okay.
but in that sense, it's like it's very consistent. It's kind of one of those you're like you usually go, kind of like a late night snack kind of thing, or just kind of a like a quick bite, and you get like 2 or 3 cheeseburgers, and it's exactly what you're looking for.
Okay, so that's your number five, a Seattle native chain, if you will.
Yep.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah. My number 4 is Five Guys.
Five Guys.
Five
Wow.
Guys burger and fries. To name drop again, it's supposedly former President Barack Obama's favorite burger chain.
Oh, really? So it's from the East Coast, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think it was Maryland, but I should look that up.
Yeah, I think if I recall correctly, it's kind of the D.C., Northern Virginia area. And it was founded by a father and his 4 sons, hence the name Five Guys.
Ah,
And the main thing with Five Guys is that everything is kind of put together really well. The main knock I hear people have about Five Guys is that it feels like something you can kind of make at home.
okay, that's a good thing. Maybe.
Yeah, it just kind of, I think for some people, if doesn't feel worth going out for. If
Okay.
I can
Okay.
achieve this level of quality at home, it doesn't, seem worthwhile to pay someone else to do it. I don't mind that too much. I think what Five Guys does is it has a large selection of fixings. That's really what I like about Five Guys, is that it's pretty all inclusive when it comes to fixings, from like mushrooms to onions to fresh
Yeah.
jalapenos, which is actually like I really like that. Where, as opposed to most other places, if they put any jalapenos on their burgers, they tend to be pickled, right? And so
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a difference in flavor. I like both, but there's something about the fresh jalapeno that helps a lot.
I remember the burger menu. Like you can have there's like letters and like fixings in red, and then there's fixings in black.
Right.
So the red ones are the basics. Like the lettuce, the
So
tomato.
yeah,
Kind of the basic
so
ones.
they have a so here's the kind of way you order at Five Guys, is that the ones I think in red, the kind of basic ones, they have this like preset burger where you're like, I don't know what I want on my burger, and it's called All the Way. And you can get things. So if you get All the Way, it's all of those items, and then you can take things off and add things on as you want.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, like again, I kind of briefly mentioned it before, where like I sometimes I just don't know what I want. Like I want cheese, I
Right.
want something like kind of automatically kind of built into the burger. So
Yeah, and so that's nice, where it's kind of like it's a pretty the All the Way is pretty safe burger. I think they add some grilled onions. I'm not sure if I think the mushrooms are included on All the Way. And then like ketchup, mayo, mustard, right? And you can opt for
yeah.
different condiments and mix and match and that sort of thing. I guess my main knock on Five Guys, and why it's only number 4, even though I considered it a pretty high quality burger, is the experience is a little marred because it has a tendency to get kind of greasy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that.
yeah, so because they use so much peanut oil, and they cram the whole thing into this very like sealed tin foil thing, the grease doesn't really have anywhere to go other than in the bun, and so it
Yeah.
makes for a slightly messier experience than I like.
Yeah, actually, Five Guys fell off from my list, and the reason why is that it's as Jonas is saying, it's not that it's not a good burger, but for some reason I went there like once, twice, and then that's it. It kind of like oh well, there's Five Guys. I don't know if I want it. I have a same issue with another chain. Like Ike sandwiches. Like it's a great sandwich. They make a great sandwich, but for some reason, when I just think about it, I just for some reason I don't want it.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's partly me.
right. My thing with Five Guys is that generally speaking, you want to go with other people. Like it's not a, oh, I need to grab lunch for myself. Maybe I'll drop in Five Guys, right? Whereas these other places, I might be more inclined to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
But Five Guys, and the main reason is because this is kind of the, I would argue it's the best part of their experience is the fries. Right? They give you a boatload of fries. It comes in a brown paper bag. They don't have trays, and they have a cup that relatively denotes size, but basically they fill the cup and then dump another like shovelful of fries into the bag.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I could go and get a burger at Five Guys, but I kind of feel like a glutton if I get fries, like by
Yeah.
myself. Now they've supposedly made a smaller size. It's not that much smaller, right? It's a smaller cup, but they're still dumping the extra fries into the bag.
Which it might not be a bad thing, because you want to get your money's worth.
Right.
Of it,
It's. I mean, the fries are really good. You can get them, and the Cajun style are quite good. I just think that if you're doing it, the recommendation is generally to go with at least one or two other people, and order like a medium to large fry that you can share between all of you, because that's how many they're gonna give you.
Okay, so Dick's is number 5. Five Guys is number 4.
Correct.
What's your number 3?
My number 3. This, if you were to ask me this, maybe kind of coming on like 10 years ago, I would have said this was number 1. But there was a slight menu change in it, and it dropped to number 3 for me, and that's Carl's Jr.
Okay. Okay.
Hardee's for
Hardee's,
the East Coast people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carl's Jr. to me is a very straightforward, like it is what it is, and that it's kind of a no frills. And certainly they have other things on the menu that are nice. You know, the Texas bacon double star kind of, barbecue burger. But for me, my go-to at Carl's Jr. is kind of, to me, like the simple burger, which is their original $6 burger.
Mm-hmm.
And I go for that over like the Superstar, just simply because it has that kind of heartiness of a kind of more substantial burger, and so it feels kind of nicer. And
it's a better burger.
It is, and the fixings and all of that they put on it are very simple, but it's kind of, it doesn't try to be more than it is, and it does what it does well.
Yeah, yeah. Carl's Jr. is pretty good. I like it too. It's on my list as well. Well, you'll see where it is on my list,
Sure.
but there's also like a lot of variety. Especially with their fries too, like waffle fries.
Yeah, I think
and,
the regular fries. I'm kind of just a sucker for like well done kind of regular sort of straight cut fries. And I like them a little thicker, so steak fries are kind of my preferred fry. And I think Carl's just does a solid job with it. They're not fancy, but they're not like they go well with the meal.
Yeah, yeah. I can't knock Carl's fries.
Right.
So that's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
What's number 2?
Number 2, and speaking of fries, this is probably their worst feature. Is fries? Is my number 2 is In-N-Out.
Okay.
I get why their fries aren't good, because they rice their fries straight into fresh potatoes straight into kind of scalding oil, and
yeah, that's not how you make fries.
You can't make good fries that way, right? Like you kind of need the best fries, generally speaking, are this kind of like twice flash fried kind of process.
Right.
But fries aside, right? Like they cut them thin enough where the frying does kind of like you get what I would say like a 50 to 65% fry on the first fry. I'm personally not a fan of fries well done.
Okay.
I would rather have potato chips at that point. They're just too over. Yeah.
Crunchy. Yeah. But enough about the fries. What about the
Sure.
burger?
The burger itself with In-N-Out is the thing that hits me is that it's not only kind of a higher standard of burger than your typical sort of fast food fare, but it's just amazingly consistent, right? Like you go to In-N-Out and you know exactly what you're getting. I've been to an In-N-Out in, like Ontario, Inland Empire, California, and all the way up in like Davis, California, and they're exactly the same. You get,
Yeah, that's
a
true.
double animal style. Like, I mean, it's kind of creepy how it's exactly the same down to the like exact layout. That's kind of creepy, but
I would argue it's exactly the same. The amount of sauce that's on it is the same.
Sure.
And funny enough, like I actually know exactly which In and Out, like in Empire One, in LA area, and then also the one in Davis. So like I just have a vivid memory of like, no, oh, I know this one, but doesn't matter like which the restaurant layout is. It's the same. The food that you get is consistent across the board.
It's kind of jarring to me every time I go into an In-N-Out because it feels like, I used to go to the one in Mountain View, California a lot because that was the closest one to my apartment when I lived in California. And every time I go into a different In-N-Out, like I'm kind of shocked about how similar the experience is.
Yeah,
In terms
that's
of
true.
like just that visceral experience of like walking through the door and everything is exactly where like the soda fountains are over there and the bathrooms are on that other side of the counter and how the booths are laid out and that sort of thing. But for the burger itself, right? Like I'm not gonna say that it's an extraordinary standout of a burger, but it's a very, very well done burger, and the fact that it is well done so consistently, right? I don't have any qualms about telling someone like, "Hey, you should try this at In-N-Out," because I know exactly what they're gonna get. Like I don't.
So the hype is real.
Right.
The hype is real.
I don't know if I would personally hype it as much as a lot of native Californians, but yeah, definitely. If it was the first place I've been to that like, oh hey, this kind of lives up to the hype, and you like I don't have any beef like telling someone to go there, and I won't worry that like, oh, what if they just have a bad experience there,
Yeah.
because I've actually never seen that happen at an In-N-Out.
It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. That it's every time you go, the menu stays consistent, right? And just the burger, it just tastes good. I mean, lack of
Yeah, it's pretty.
expressive words, for the burger itself, but
It's pretty. I mean, it's pretty no frills, and there is this sort of, you feel this sort of like innate sort of joy at ordering something off of a, not so secret menu.
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
so you're number one.
My number one is the Habit Burger and Grill.
Okay, another West Coast thing.
Yeah. The Habit is, I believe, originally from Santa Barbara.
Right.
And they just, like, a lot of what I said about In-N-Out applies to the Habit just in terms of the measure of consistency. I just personally think that the Habit Charburger is just overall a better quality burger than the In-N-Out burger.
Yeah, it's borderline like kind of artisan kind of ish burger to me, but like at first I didn't want to put that into fast food, but it's a fast food restaurant.
It is, and they do seem to cater towards like kind of nicer it's sort of high-end fast food, I guess would be the way to put it,
Yeah.
because you look at some of the other menu items. They have, I think, like a tri-tip steak sandwich. They have an ahi tuna sandwich.
Right.
The Santa Barbara style char burger is pretty like gourmet for something that you would find at a fast food restaurant.
Right.
And the main thing outside of the additional, like just the quality of the burger that really pushes it over the top for me is actually their sides are much better. Like they add to
Okay.
the experience. They have the tempura, fried green beans, or the French fries themselves. I kind of prefer, as I said, those thicker cut hearty fries.
Right.
And the onion rings. Like everything there is just very,
Yeah.
very solid. They're on top of their game.
Yeah. It's a good chain. Okay. So your five again is Dick's. Uh, Co- wait.
Dick's,
Oh man, Dick's in Seattle,
right?
right?
Yep.
What is the fourth one?
Five Guys.
Carl's Jr.
Five
Five
Guys.
Guys.
Right.
Five Guys. Carl's Jr.
Yep.
Right. In and Out. And The Habit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those
That's
are
a good list. That's a good list.
right. So, how about you, Jonathan? What are your top five?
So I'm gonna get a lot of flame for this, but for my top five, the one that kicked out Five Guys has to be McDonald's.
Yeah, it's kind of a, there is a sort of like nostalgia factor, I think, to McDonald's.
To me, if you think about fast food, it's the quintessential fast food place, fast food burger, right?
Right.
Like, oh, what do you want? If you want burgers, immediately you would think McDonald's. I know some people are Burger King guys, but
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like the first ever burger, at least for me when I was a kid, is the Happy Meal cheeseburger, right?
Sure.
So the first thing I think about, McDonald's. So it has to take my number five place.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of McDonald's burgers in general, but there is something about it. There's certain items on the menu where you go back to it. To me,
Yeah.
I didn't really think about McDonald's a whole lot, just simply because the majority of the time I go to McDonald's, or most of the people I know that go to McDonald's, don't really go for burgers.
See, but the thing is, like, the reason why I say, yeah, I mean, truthfully, at least their lower cost burgers are not like great burgers. But again, you remember what it is, right?
Sure.
So, like, in terms of the meat quality, there's a lot of room to improve. But you also don't want a gourmet burger at McDonald's. You just want that thing, that cheeseburger. So there's the cheeseburger. There is the cheese, the kind of tangy ketchup, and then also what got me is that the little pieces of diced onion that is on the cheeseburger itself, like that completes the kind of cheapish, cheeseburger McDouble kind of experience for me.
Yeah, I think with McDonald's is they've figured out kind of proportionality. Like somehow it works, and
Yeah.
that's what you're getting. And kind of my take on McDonald's is that there are certain things that are kind of harder to accomplish that McDonald's does, that that other places, say like Burger King, like they're considered kind of the top tier rival, right?
Yeah.
As a whole, I would consider like the Whopper, like I would consider the Whopper a better burger than the Big
Yeah.
Mac, but and I like both, but there is an aspect of like I could probably make something closer to a Whopper at home than I could actually nail a Big Mac.
So stay tuned for more features or more videos of this channel, because obviously, if we talk about fast food burgers, we would want to make it better, right? So maybe we can take on the Big Mac challenge. But yeah, talking about the Big Mac, that's again, it's what you think about. Like, oh, if you want the upgrade from the cheeseburger, you would get the Big Mac, or you would get the quarter pounder. Either way, you just kind of know what that burger is, intuitively. Once you had it once, because that nostalgia, that when you think about McDonald's, it always comes up. So I put McDonald's on my number five.
Okay. What's the
So for my number four, I also put Carl's Jr. on that list. My number four is Carl's Jr. It's a great burger. Again, so I haven't been back for a little bit, but when they first introduced the $6 burger, and then the Western Six and all that, that's when I got excited and interested with them because, well, their marketing is genius, or at least back in the day. The whole if it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face kind of thing. It's just you look at it and you think if I want to upgrade from McDonald's, I'd go to Carl's Jr. I mean, and that's my thinking. So it's a really good burger chain.
Yeah, I think I'm sad there aren't more of them around. I have a hard time finding Hardee's on the East Coast. I think in
Yeah.
all of my time on the East Coast, so for those of you aren't familiar, I'm not originally from California, even though I lived there for a while, even though it sounds like I'm listing all these West Coast chains. I grew up originally in upstate New York, and I think in the many, many, many years that I've been on the East Coast, I've been to maybe one Hardee's.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I just know of the Hardy's name. Actually, previously, when Carl's Jr. entered into the Hong Kong market, into the Hong Kong market, they said Hardee's, the third largest chain, the third largest burger chain in the United States. Like that was how I knew of Hardee's.
Huh.
And then as I came, into the United States, I moved here with my family, and that and I realized, hey, how come that star looks so familiar with with the Hardy star, and that's how I know that, oh, okay, Hardee's, Carl's Jr., they're kind of the same, and so yeah, like again, Carl's Jr., I think you spoke on it a lot. It's just a good burger. The only reason why it's kind of dropping down the list because there are three more that's better than it. But also, I remember a coworker before telling me that he bought two $6 burgers, and he opened them up side by side, and the meat on the two burgers were exactly the same, down to the grill marks and the little indentation of that piece of meat. And so he was claiming, I have no proof, but he's claiming that their meats are kind of injection molded, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's within the realm of possibility. Like again, we're not touting these places as going to be like your high-end gourmet, right? Like we kind of when we talked about like cooking the burgers, like, oh, do you prefer your burgers kind of medium or well done, or like with no pink or with some pink? Like we kind of know like every single one of these places is going to be a well done burger.
Yeah, I mean, and truthfully, like once, like back then, I didn't know how to make the burger or make a burger, but now, as I know, then I realized, I mean, if it's a machine that's making out the patty, it's not that bad, right? It's the
Right.
painted on grill lines that was a little bit weird for me.
Sure.
Like, oh, there's artificial grill marks,
Sure.
a little weird,
Sure.
But yeah, that's my number 4. So for my number 3, I would have to put In-N-Out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Californians, it should be number 1, right? But it's number 3, and there's a reason for it. It's a great chain, as Jonas has already mentioned. Every time you go, you know exactly what you're gonna get. There's only a few items on the menu, right? There is a double, the cheeseburger, and the original. And really, like every time I go, a double with grilled onions. That's my go-to. So you know exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely super solid, but like just overall, right? Like the overall experience is super consistent. It's super solid, but you just it's just not like a outstanding, like this is amazing kind of
Yeah,
burger.
I think in terms of like sorry to say, lower tier fast food, In-N-Out is king, right? It's like borderline, there for like a very decent burger. It's just that the experience of going in there feels more fast foody.
Sure.
And that's kind of the thing for me.
Like here's the thing, right? Like I rated In-N-Out higher than that. We both did. We rated it higher than Five Guys, but in terms of like the overall like burger quality, like there is a part of me that says like Five Guys is a slightly better burger, but the overall
Yeah.
experience might not be as good as In and Out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, my wife and I always say like, oh wait, In and Out's better, or Five Guys is better. And truthfully, Five Guys, the burger is better than In and Out. It's just that In and Out has a special place in my heart. So that's number 3 for me.
Do what they do well.
Yep. So my number 2, also on the list, is Habit Burger. Jordan's already mentioned a lot about them. It's a great burger chain, especially kind of in the West Coast area. I have one down the street from me where I live.
Spoiled.
And yeah, I don't know why I don't eat it more often. I mean, now the shelter in place and everything. But the thing about the Habit is that I almost always default to their kind of barbecue burger, and you just know that it's a gourmet burger. You get that restaurant quality and experience without paying the price, and they're fast. Their burgers are amazing.
Yeah, you get definitely at least kind of those generic chain dine-in kind of caliber burgers, right? Like I would, if you gave me a Habit burger and like an Applebee's burger, right? Like I'd probably prefer the Habit burger. Otherwise,
Me
they'd
too.
at least be comparable, right? Like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And that's just like kind of amazing in that sort of fast food context.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're going to a fast food restaurant, and that's the thing. So that's why I said it's kind of borderline. Like I don't want to rate it as fast food, but it is. It is fast
Yeah,
food. No shame in that.
It is it's a different kind of fast food than what we're used to, right? Like the insides, and that's true for a couple of these places, right? Like I would actually put kind of Five Guys in this category as well as sort of the more boutique kind of fast food burger joints like In and Out, Five Guys, and The Habit, which are on all of our lists.
Not my list, but
Well, except for Five Guys for you, but like In and Out and The Habit, right, which is on both of our lists, right? Like you have this sort of like expectation, like it feels nicer just to go into one than say
Yeah.
like a Wendy's or a Burger King or a McDonald's.
right. Yeah, I agree with that. So finally, for my number 1, that is Super Duper Burger. Originated in San Francisco. I know, Jonas, you said you haven't had it before, but Super Duper Burger is a chain founded by Adriano Pagani. I hope I'm not botching the guy's name. It's an amazing experience. You go in there and you order either like for me, I ordered a mini burger because the big one is just a little bit big, but it's a roughly 4-inch kind of size. A decent patty, like great fresh ingredients, and the amazing thing is you can add a fried egg on it, and that kind of brings it over the top.
Yeah, definitely never seen a fast food place that offers a fried egg as a fixing option.
You can kind of tell, right? Like West Coast, San Francisco, so it must have a little flair to it. But yeah, like a fried egg, and yeah, with that egg, it's borderline like open face sandwich. It kind of gets messy. When the egg yolk kind of drops and all that. It
does.
But it's still a really good burger.
Yeah, I mean, I consider an egg a legitimate topping. That's because I mentioned it earlier. I was a big fan and still kind of am a big fan of Red Robin, and their signature burger is the Royal Red, which has a fried egg on top, and so it's doable. It just feels like a very, very kind of gourmand sort of like move in the burger.
I mean, they kind of have that theme going on. Like you can order beer in that restaurant. You can have garlic fries, with Gilroy garlic. You can have like avocado. So I mean, again, it's a fast food joint that is trying not to be fast food. That's what I would say about them.
Yeah. Okay. So let's recap. So Jonathan, your top five. Number five was McDonald's.
McDonald's, yep.
Nostalgia factor. Number four was Carl's Jr.
Yes, Carl's Jr., Hardee's.
And then In and Out.
In and Out's my number three.
Number three. Number two was The Habit.
Yep.
And then finally, number one, Super Duper.
Yes, that is my number one.
So yeah, for all you viewers and listeners out there, I know might have missed some of your favorite. Again, remember our criteria was fast food, so you pay beforehand, and we were looking specifically at chains. Now I know like Super Duper and Dick's are kind of regional chains, and East Coasters. I'm really sorry that we basically
wait for it.
mentioned mostly West Coast chains. And
there is an elephant in the room, though.
There
right?
is. So East Coasters, you might be very, very upset, if not incensed, that we have neglected Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Now,
I have my reasons.
Full disclosure, it is not because we have not had Shake Shack before. We both have had Shake Shack.
I had Shake Shack.
And I'll let Jonathan describe his experience. My experience with Shake Shack was not good.
Okay. So I guess first of all, let's kind of set the stage, right? For anybody who are from the East Coast or travel to New York, they would always do this. Like they would pit In and Out against Shake Shack, kind of as these rivals. Like, oh, the West Coast kind of giant fast food burger, the quintessential burger is In and Out, and for the East Coast, for New York, Northeast, then it's going to be Shake Shack.
Sure.
So they always, all my friends will be like, oh, you gotta try Shake Shack because it's gonna rock your boat and everything. And so the hype was really, really the thing that drove me to try for the first time.
Yeah, and to be fair, right, like these are just our takes, and so this is not like super indicative of like this is the definitive best burger. And I definitely know some people that are like Shake Shack, like super Shake Shack advocates who, like, if I post anything negative about Shake Shack, will like eviscerate me online. But
so how was your experience?
My experience, at best, I could say it's underwhelming. And there's sort of this sense of what we mentioned with In and Out, where if you can say like, oh, you went to the wrong Shake Shack, like that's just kind of points against it in general.
Right.
So the Shake Shack I went to was on the East Coast. I went to the Shake Shack in Boston.
Okay.
And, I got in and we got the burger. We got, I was very intrigued because their signature is their Shack sauce.
Yeah.
So got the burger, got the Shack sauce. And, the reality of it is the burger itself and everything else was pretty forgettable. It was very like a normal burger, and the thing that really turned me off of it was actually the Shack sauce, because to me the Shack sauce was just too much mayo. Like
Okay.
it was all fat and very little anything else, and it just tasted like mayo. That was and that because that was like the only sort of other flavor on the burger. It kind of overwhelmed the whole burger.
Okay, that's fair. So actually, I've been to 3 different Shake Shacks. The first one was in New York. Although that day, my wife and we went to New York and we rushed back, and so it was difficult, like trying to enjoy that burger on our flight day. So again, as you were saying, forgettable, because I don't remember that burger so much. It was okay. It was good. But it wasn't like kind of
and
life altering kind of thing.
To your point, right? Like, we can say you're rushed, but like for me, right? My first Five Guys experience was at the Dulles Airport, and that I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so my second time going to this to Five Guys was
Shake
actually a
Shack.
really good one. Shake Shack, there we go. Shake Shack was actually in Florida, and I it was great. I loved it. I thought that it redeemed itself. Like, wow, this is an awesome burger. There's a little bit of crispiness to, to the patty. The sauce was good. The bun was slightly toasted. Everything just seems like, it's great. It kind of got the job done. So I was like, I think I found a new favorite. I want this in the Bay Area and in San Francisco. And so it kind of redeemed itself. And then this past December, when I went to Hong Kong and I saw Shake Shack, I told everybody, like, oh wow, we gotta go. We have to go to this Shake Shack because it's gonna be the best burger in your life. And it wasn't.
Yeah, I would personally say like international is always kind of hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Well, McDonald's is very
Sure,
consistent.
sure.
Actually better. But I think it goes back to your point about In and Out. Like, if you go to every In and Out, you have that you understand that this is what you're gonna get. The In and Out burger, right? Consistent, great flavor. That was the thing. But Five Guys, the two times out of three, the bun was soggy, and that is a big pet peeve of mine.
Sure.
And just overall, again, forgettable kind of burger.
Yeah, and I think definitely that's what puts In and Out above these other kind of national chains like Shake Shack and Five Guys. The For me, Shake Shack is just kind of like, it's not something where I was like, you know what, maybe this was bad. I'm gonna willing to give it another try. Like, it felt like that's probably the burger I'm going to get. Now,
Right.
maybe I did have an anomalous experience, and that's what, like, there's another burger chain that my friends keep telling me that, like, oh, you had an anomalous experience with that, and that's Smash Burger. Like, to me, Shake Shack and Smash Burger are very similar. It's
Not a good fan.
that attempt to be very high end, sort of posh hipster burger joint, and I'm sorry, I just don't feel like the atmosphere and ambiance and the little trays and all of that they pull off very well, but in terms of just the food itself, like, I'm not a huge fan of it. And if you ever watch this Carla Lolly music, please don't kill me.
Well, so we've kind of given our list. We've given we stabbed, Shake Shack quite a bit. So for you guys who are listening or watching, tell us, what is your burger chain? What's your top five? Do you like Shake Shack? Do you not like Shake Shack? Maybe you want a umami burger on this. Maybe you want a smash burger on this. Tell us what it is that you like in the comments below. And also remember to like, subscribe, and also click the little bell icon for YouTube, because we're gonna have more content coming out, very very soon.
Yeah, definitely. Really appreciate you joining us for this, and this has been Bread and Burgers.
Episode 3. We will see you guys next time.
See you around.
Bye.